I'm Richard Knutson, and I'm a commercial real estate broker. I'm part owner of a firm called Premier Apartment Advisors. The office is based in Alameda, but we work regionally throughout Northern California. I've worked with Chris Hanson actually on the basis of educating and doing professional development with my crew. There's a lot of technical knowledge that goes into conducting a transaction, but also documenting the transaction properly. So I didn't have any litigation problems or stress with Chris at all. I didn't need to hire him for that. I brought Chris in to do a seminar with my sales agents. There are about 8 of us total, and make sure that we're documenting the files properly, that we're doing disclosures properly, and that we're getting those disclosures recognized by the people that, that signed off, basically by the principals. So it was really a professional development role that he played for my firm. Well, as a commercial real estate broker, I have attorneys involved in basically every transaction. And it's not uncommon that there's 4 or 5 of them. It's not just the buyer and the seller, but the lender often has counsel, the title company often has lawyers, and so I know a lot of lawyers involved in real estate. Chris is, one of the unique things about him is that he used to be an active real estate broker. So he has the perspective of getting a transaction completed properly, but getting the transaction done. Brokers only get paid if we close. We don't get paid to try hard. And so I think Chris brings that unique perspective of solving problems, not fixing blame, but fixing problems, and helping us get the transaction completed, which is what the clients hired us to do. Yeah, I mean, Chris is a very creative guy. He knows how to keep the stress down. He knows how to get people to communicate with each other in ways that, keeps a positive spin, a positive environment. So I think I worked with him actually when he was a broker on, I couldn't tell you what property, but I saw him in action as a sales professional. And I think his role as a legal advisor, brings another dimension to his service, but you don't lose that old part of him, that original experience of knowing what it takes to get a deal completed properly. The way you know someone is good at what they do is, first of all, you talk to other folks that have worked with them. Reputation is very important. And since I worked with him directly for so long, I know other people who know Chris. In business meetings and other venues, names get dropped, and it always makes you feel good that people you're working with know other people and they say good things about them. And then everything else is just comparison. I don't know how many attorneys are in my database, but it's probably 200 or 300. So because of that, it's pretty easy for me to figure out within the first 5 or 10 minutes, whether it's an attorney or someone in the title business or another broker, what's the level of competence, experience, and the ability to sort of merge in with whatever I want to accomplish in terms of the goals of our clients. So it's not hard for me to sort of figure out who's good at something, and I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't think Chris was really good at what he does, and he's a guy I trust, and it's good to have him in my network. I would definitely bring him in the event that we had some kind of a claim that related to our professional activities. If someone said we didn't do proper disclosure or we didn't act properly as agents, so any kind of a claim against us, that nature, I would bring him in because again, he's been an agent in the field, and I think he knows how to make the case for what we did and why it was proper. I know Chris knows his legal stuff, but his vocabulary is very businesslike. So I don't really sense that I'm in the presence of someone who's playing the role of the big lawyer around Chris. He's not condescending. He doesn't make you feel small. I think he's actually very strong in asking questions rather than just making statements. And I like that quality. I think that helps people. That helps service providers, all professionals, serve their client if they ask more questions than they try and dictate terms and conditions. I'm sure that Chris and I met back in the mid-1980s or late 1980s when he was either selling a property, probably here in Alameda. He has a long family history in real estate. Or I was selling a property, either in Alameda or Oakland, and he called me. So I think we probably met in working on a listing together, where one of us represented the buyer, one the seller. And that was a good friendship, and then a little while later he decided to go back to law school. And he reinvented himself and added that additional dimension to his profession. I think he's a dedicated lawyer today. I don't think of him as an active real estate broker, but I do think of him as a guy who understands how to get deals to come together and have everyone's interests served. You know, I would think of Chris Hanson as just being competent and honest. He really knows his stuff. He's good on details, but he's not mired in them. And you can trust him. You can disagree with him, and that's an honest disagreement. But basically, I found him to be a guy that if he gives me his honest opinion, if he says, "Look, here's what I really think," I can kind of take that to the bank.